Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Dead Space 2. Let's continue. So I've decided to use my pulse rifle instead of my main gun, and I'm going to try and stock up on main gun bullets. We're on the Ishimura, and I feel like I get a lot of feelings of just being unimpressed by seeing the old game areas.
There are several shocking findings relating to the sludge-like material found throughout the Ishimura. First, it is human DNA. Second, and far more disturbing, it reanimates in the presence of a marker signal. The only conclusion we can come to is that the entire Ishimura crew was infected and reconstructed and then fell into a soupy DNA sludge when the Aegis 7 marker was destroyed.
Oh, so that's how the Ishimura got back to Titan, the moon around Saturn, is that everything when I destroyed the marker turned into sludge. So as long as I destroy the marker in this game, all the necromorphs again will turn into sludge. But as soon as somebody builds a third marker, then they would all reconstitute themselves. Warning, mandatory decontamination. So that certainly explains why there was so much towels, basically. I don't know what you call it otherwise. It was a white plastic looking sheeting that they were putting on everything. And apparently it was to absorb all of this stuff. Questionable, even as a necromorphs. Like, what is a small amount of DNA going to do? We've seen, however, that even the little things seem to merge back together and create bigger things. So this was another room. I feel like we're having the greatest hits experience. Footsteps here. This was another room where I believe we got a weapon, but I feel like a lot of these sections are being connected with some of the doors not being where they were before. Or, you know, what could be happening is that there was possibly a lot of locked doors in the first game, and they're now having us go through those locked doors in a interesting system. Duration of how much and capacity. I definitely want that. Doing more damage would be nice. Is there anything else that I can upgrade right now, though? I could go reload speed on the line gun, which is pretty slow. Or the pulse rifle is fully animated, upgraded. One more node here. It's probably not worth it. Duration of my stasis, though. I'll spend a node there because I have started to use the stasis more. It seems like late into the game that's turned into something that's important, which is odd, but okay. So like every time this decontamination chamber activated, which like every time it's activated, it caused enemies to jump down and attack me. I wouldn't be surprised if nothing happens this time. I'm a little surprised that the decontamination isn't just completely broken or disabled. You would really have had to have played this section right after playing Dead Space 1. And that's just asking too much. Here we have your standard video game monster closets, where these are supposedly vents, but they don't seem like they really connect to any kind of air conditioning or anything, so what are they really doing? I guess I had to take my pick there of who I was going to attack first. And I guess the game wanted me to... That didn't really feel like that was a fair choice on my part. Getting a bunch of line racks and... It's a little weird that even though this game is kind of about knocking the limbs off, shooting the neck and basically just shooting them in the head seems to still very much play a role. More than I think it probably should. The next step on the concept of a game like this, where it is intentionally trying to subvert the standard video game way of playing games, which is to have you aim for headshots and zombies. So the next step would be to actively punish headshots, and I don't think you can go that far. Like, because if you go that far, there'd be too many standard video game players that would feel betrayed by that. They would really hate that experience. Kind of how I'm hating how the reload button on this is the X button instead of the B button, and how you have to pull the left trigger and the right trigger to shoot a gun. When it feels like you probably should be able to just should be able to at least no scope it and fire the gun without from this point, but instead you get a swing, which you would have thought normally a swing would have been its own established button. Also, no grenades. Another thing feels like it's missing. Going through this entire experience is giving me a lot of health packs. But my main gun still's using a lot of bullets. And see, I almost feel like we might be just walking into a boss fight with the giant creature in the food area. Interesting how that character's just not making any sounds at all. He's walking up right behind me. Like, I definitely feel like more of that could have happened in this game, where you don't have them make noise. And there's just way too many safe spots in this section. It's almost as if they were questioning whether they would have the ability to do this without the game crashing all over the place. Although I don't really see a reason why that would be the case.
Zero gravity.
It just feels really simplistic. And I remember this section being annoying, but also like how zero gravity worked then and how it works now is kind of different. So I don't think there's much to do here, because like, can't I just do this? Yeah, so I can straight up float. Whereas in the first game, you maybe could have floated for a while, and then it got down to a point where I guess I need to go probably attach all these things. Like, maybe you could have floated for a while and then you ended up having to use the elevators because you turned the gravity back on. I'm trying to turn the gravity back on right now because I want to use the gravity to my advantage. There's those credits. So down I go. I can't even activate it. Interesting. Like, you can't even activate it right now. Okay. It feels like things have specifically been put in certain ways to be in the way and to also not be solutions. Let's see. Is that right? No. Maybe it is. Like, maybe if I rotate this whole thing later on. Yep, that will work. We haven't had enough puzzles to justify this. You kind of get the feeling that there's a lack of budget.
The damn cooling core is extended and pieces are everywhere.
Really? It won't work unless all the cooling tubes are connected.
Yeah, I see the two paths on the floating components. I think I can match them up with the right sockets.
You'd better hurry. The GovSec is getting further away by the minute.
I know, going as fast as I can. Look, I'll contact you when I'm done.
And I don't think that there's a different way this would match up, and then that would unlock anything extra. To remember that I can orient myself to the ground if necessary. Let's see. Schematic for something. We'll deal with that later. We're trying to turn on the gravity so that the ship can merge the two areas that have been broken apart and are getting further and further away from each other on Titan Station, which I don't think that would work. If I've learned anything from my slight failures and a lot of wasting of time of playing Kerbal Space Program, the relative velocity changes so uncontrollably fast that you've probably screwed up and lost much quicker than you realized if you get two satellites moving at different orbits or away from each other. Okay, I guess these blinking red lights are supposed to be indicators of something. Okay. Wow, even with the red blinking lights, I still was having trouble finding these pieces. That says something about the lighting in this game. It's a little too dark even for a horror game. Okay. And now that I have all of that set, I guess the idea is that I can turn this on, and then I'm probably gonna have to run through the centrifuge again. It's funny that gravity just immediately turns on, so clearly there's something more than just the centrifuge that controls gravity. As far as I'm concerned, we can walk this way. Yeah, it just wants me to walk out. So. Seems like there's nothing else to that. Really? No enemies? No, nothing? That seems quite crazy. And see, that was a hallucination without the flickering of the lights from before. And like, I kind of get it. This whole thing is supposed to be PTSD on Isaac, but he's been more than jolly. If anything, he's just getting into his groove from the first game. Like, somehow this mentally became good for him to get back to the Ishimura.
Ellie, I've got the centrifuge online. I'm heading back towards the tram station.
Okay, I've almost got us disconnected from the mag rail. Keep me posted.
Alright, and see, we already went down there and collected all the collectibles down that way, I'm pretty sure. So, back through decontamination. And so much of this is just noise. I hear somebody, but I don't see it yet. They raised the windows, I think, a little prematurely. Okay, there's some kids that way, some kids that way. Where would the kids, by the way, be in all of this? Like, why would there be kids on the Ishimura? Unless this is really just getting down to the idea. Now, these kid characters, by the way, were not in the first game. So, that's something to, I guess, take from that. But, are they making the argument that there were kids in the first game and we just didn't see them, or what? I guess the alternate fire element would be the only thing I have that's kind of like a grenade. I need to heal myself or I'm gonna die, but as I'm taking a breath to heal myself, I'm also dying. That would have been a pretty good point to upgrade and use up my flamethrower capacity. Maybe.
No, Isaac, Strauss is starting to worry me. Listen,
I would never. But son, Daddy's not a murderer.
Strauss?
I would
Strauss,
never hurt you.
he's not real.
Yes, he is. You can't see him because you haven't taken the steps.
Strauss, put down the
Step
screwdriver.
Step 3.
Ah!
Strauss! Ellie! Shit!
So they've been keeping Strauss with them, this crazy man, the whole time. And like, I really don't have anything, so I could increase either the damage of my fire or the capacity of the line gun, which I haven't even been using, or can I do anything otherwise? It would be a while before I could upgrade stasis anymore. It'd be a long while before I could get any HP upgraded on the rig. So I'd like to increase something, and the only thing I can really increase is this. And just do more damage with the flamethrower, which I think very possibly is going to play a role, because we are low on bullets. But we do have a lot of line gun bullets, so maybe that will in some way work out. The story, a lot of these parts of the story have been built very much around the idea of keeping Isaac away from Strauss and Ellie, so he's isolated. Notice that this does not let me do this. See, that was a big thing in the first game, but here it happens only on very rare occasions. So much so that we're on chapter 10, we're hours and hours into this game, and maybe that's like the second or third time it's happened. It kind of feels like there was a completely different team that made this. I think it was technically Visceral that made both games, but that doesn't inherently mean that the people on the team at Visceral were the same or had the same passion. A lot of video game sequels are made by a B team. The Assassin's Creed series is kind of a great example of that, where you'll have A team and B team developments, and you can pretty well tell that some of those some years are off years and some years are good years. Let's see. There's kind of nothing here to do, so let's see if we can buy some more bullets. So we got a schematic for force energy, which I guess means we could make energy for the force gun, which is cool and all, but I don't think necessary. I'll take a node, because I kind of have to take a node, and then I'll take a bunch of bullets, and these bullets aren't really doing me great. And then my inventory. Did not realize my inventory was so high. Let's go ahead and sell this. Let's go ahead and move that over. And then line racks. want to hold on to the line racks. But I do need to sell some health. So I'm gonna have to make some decisions here. Do we sell the good health or do we start selling the small health? Let's sell the small health, I guess. Like honestly, a half health pack is probably all we need. One, maybe two. And let's just quickly save. I kind of question here if maybe... Now I don't want to overwrite my first chapter 7, so I'm going to overwrite my second chapter 7. Save spot. I'm kind of the opinion that maybe we could just race through this section and get off the Ishimura. It's just this whole side section. It feels very weird how they went about to tell this story. Because they kind of did make it seem like for a brief second that you weren't going to be... You just weren't going to be using or running into any necromorphs at all. This is weird. I was not under the impression that I was going to get on one of these trams and move anywhere. Like, I turned on the gravity generator, and this is where the chapters within in the first game.
Isaac, damn it, that hurts. The bastard bit me.
What? Ah, shit. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. But he stopped talking. He won't look at me. How's it going at your end? And please tell me this plan is going to work.
I'm almost there. I'm headed to the bridge now to activate the gravity
There's
tethers.
always
Well,
pain.
good. They're swarming in through a hole in the medical deck. At least you wanted to go through there.
Unexpected obstruction ahead. Shutting down. Welcome to the medical deck.
Crap.
They really are just going to make me go through the greatest hits of the first game. Unnecessary. Yeah, and clearly the main point of the story is to have Isaac re-traumatized with the death of his girlfriend. We never really get an answer as far as what that ad is. I think that's the joke. It's always ping, and then we found something called ping, and it seems like it just sells. Almost like it's a unitologist competitor religion or something. This is the cool idea. This was definitely not in the first game, where people are writing in the biomass and you're getting glowing things. So it's kind of weird that in the 3 years between this game and the first game, the big improvement was, oh yeah, we can do neon glowy biomass. Let's see. I did not see that there was a stasis item there. And you can hear in the background of the audio, it's saying Isaac. There's a question about if this was supposed to be a reference to the Binding of Isaac. Somebody, a child up for sacrifice, I guess, in a weird way. Maybe in the first game that was explained, that Isaac was being sent here as a sacrifice in the first game, and that people knew what was going on. But it certainly doesn't play any big role. It hardly is on the nose as, say, the roguelike game that's pretty popular and very good, The Binding of Isaac, and its many sequels and spin-offs and DLCs. It's been another 30 minutes. We're on chapter 10. It seems like chapter 10 is going to be a long one at this rate. I thought we would have been done. I guess that gives us more options to get nodes, and we're probably going to find one more outfit before we leave this area. That just seems like that would be it. But after we do chapter 10, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a small on-rails shooter-esque experience for chapter 11, and then chapter 12 is just, for the most part, a final boss fight. In the first game, there was definitely a final section of the game that really was just a boss fight. Anyways, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.